How's it going, guys? Welcome to the video. Today we're talking about something super exciting. We've been pretty much a Glock fanboy for a very long time, and I decided it was time to challenge those beliefs that I've had for a while. So this is the Sig P320. This is the X series compact, so it's pretty much Glock 19 size. It is the X series, so it is kind of the upgraded version of the standard Sig P320, but I figured we should give this a go and compare this one specifically. One, because I think it's an attractive ass looking gun. Two, because the Glock that I have is a Glock 19 Gen 5 MOS. It's pretty much the nicest stock Glock you can buy, and this is kind of getting up there in the SIGs as well, so I feel like this is the more comparable SIG to compare with. Tell me that is not a very attractive looking gun. But that's not why we bought it. I do want to do some comparisons with this, comparing it to the Glock 19, seeing how I like it or don't like it. We're going to be doing a bunch of videos going forward on this gun right here, comparing it to the Glock 19, giving my thoughts and opinions, and this is video number 1, so let's get started. So I went into my local gun store the other day and picked up this gun right here, the Sig P320 X series in the compact size, and it does come with an optics cut on top, and it's cut for either Sig's own optic. They of course want to promote their own optics, so it's cut for the Sig Romeo 1 Pro or the Leupold Delta Point Pro. They have the same footprint. So I decided this was a great opportunity to go ahead and try out the Leupold Delta Point Pro. I'll be making some videos in the future comparing this to the Holosun 507C that I've been using, but besides the point. So I went ahead and got the Leupold Delta Point Pro on here, so that's the setup that we are rocking. We have the Sig P320 X Compact with the Leupold Delta Point Pro on top. And beyond me wanting to compare this to the Glock 19, one of the things that drew me to this gun here specifically was how damn attractive this gun is. It is a really good looking gun. I love the appearance. I love the way it looks. Sig did a really good job as far as the aesthetics of this gun. Now, after purchasing this, I went ahead and went to the indoor shooting range near me, and I put about 250 rounds downrange with this gun in about an hour. So we did a little bit of a stress test, and that allows me to give, obviously not super long-term reviews on this gun, but it does allow me to give my very first impressions after putting some rounds through it. And so we're going to get into those things, the things that I noticed comparatively to the Glocks, the things that I like and don't like about this gun, and give my opinions and thoughts on this as a whole, so you guys can take that knowledge going forward, comparing this to the standard Glock 19. So first things first, I'll put up a photo right here comparing this side by side with my Glock 19, and you will notice that they're very similar in size. The main difference is going to be the Sig has a slightly shorter barrel and a shorter slide, so this dimension, it's a little bit shorter. This dimension, by the frame, the length of the frame, the Sig is actually just slightly longer, so it kind of evens out. They both are polymer framed handguns, and they both hold 15 rounds in the magazines. Now, I put about 250 rounds downrange with this gun the other day, and there were 0 malfunctions, 0 failures to feed, 0 ejection issues. Everything went very smoothly. I actually really enjoyed it. Now, what were my impressions ergonomically with this gun? Well, I do like, it feels like it has a slightly thinner grip. I don't know if that's the front to back or the side to side. It just feels thinner and a little bit easier. I don't have super large, massive hands. I have about average sized hands, and having that little bit thinner grip feels a lot better and allows me to wrap my hands around it more fully and feel more in control of the gun. And speaking of the grip, it does have a very aggressive texture on each of the 4 sides of the grip, but it doesn't completely cover the entirety of the grip. So on one hand, yes, I absolutely love how aggressive this grip is. Makes it a lot easier to hold. I wish it were more. I wish it were all the way around the gun, covering the entirety of it, because there's still some parts of my hand that are slipping on this grip. But that being said, it's way better than the stock Glocks have. Now, as far as the magazines, as I mentioned, it does hold 15 rounds in these mags, just like the Glock 19. But one really cool thing that I noticed is that these SIGs are very good at ejecting the magazines. It might sound super minor and not important, but I've noticed with my Glock that sometimes I'll press the magazine release and I have to kind of still pull it out or like shake it out. It doesn't just fall out, whereas with this SIG, it just shoots out. It's like firing that thing out of there, and that's with nothing in the magazine at all, no weight in it. It's shooting that thing out, and that makes it a lot easier for me when I'm working on reloads and whatnot to not have to try to shake the mag out or pull it out myself by hand. It just shoots right out. Moving on to the trigger, this gun has a flat face trigger, and it is a lot softer than the Glock. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing quite yet. It's smoother, but it's also a little mushier. So there's kind of a pro and a con there. It doesn't have that hard, crisp break like the Glock has, which I've kind of come to like. But at the same time, I can also appreciate this really smooth, soft trigger. I don't know, it's different. I can't give my thoughts 100% as far as whether I do or don't like that better than the Glock. It's just different. As far as my grip and holding the gun while shooting, I do really like that there is a big lever right here for the slide release to take the gun apart. It's big, bulky, and my thumb can sit perfectly on that when I'm trying to shoot, and it gives me a nice grip and control of the gun and a perfect spot for my thumb to sit at. And just in general, the way the frame is on these Sigs, it has a little bit thicker of a frame here before you get to the slide. So the Glocks, it's really thin right here. This is a little bit thicker, and so there's more space for you to put your hands on to grab without actually touching the slide and affecting the way the gun cycles. So that's a good thing, but the downside that comes with that is that this gun definitely has a little bit higher bore axis versus where you hold it. So the bore axis is where you hold the gun, where your grip is, relative to where the barrel is. So the height of the barrel above where you're holding the gun. And the higher the barrel is above where you're gripping causes more mass to move back. When the slide cycles back, there's more mass cycling back above your hand, which causes more recoil, and that's just a fact. It's kind of unavoidable, and I did notice definitively I experienced more recoil with this gun than I do with a stock Glock 19. That's just something that I noticed. It's not a deal breaker, it's not the end of the world, but I did notice a little bit more recoil with this. And the last thing I noticed as far as shooting this the other day was the grip angle of this gun, which you could probably tell just by looking at it compared to the Glock 19. I'll put back up that photo of the Glock 19 side by side. This has a more straighter grip angle, kind of closer to the 1911 style grip that everyone loves and raves about. This is a little bit straighter of a grip angle, which means it can feel a little bit more natural when you press the gun out to find your sight picture and get that lined up naturally without having to like search all over, especially if you got a red dot. Some people point their gun out and they're like, where's the red dot? They can't see it. So having a straighter grip angle can be a good thing, but for me, I am used to the Glock's grip angle and the way they shoot, finding a sight picture on the Glocks. So I did find, at least at first, I was struggling to find that sight picture because I'm so used to how the Glocks are that it didn't happen immediately for me. But it's kind of one of those things. It's like the more you use it, the more you get used to it. I noticed at home when I start dry firing with this gun, I can pick it up really quickly and easily once I've been using this gun. Then I switch back to the Glock and I start dry firing with that, and it's like I can't find the sight picture at first, but then I start using it a little more and I get it back again. It's kind of one of those things, just the more you use it, the more you get used to it. No matter the grip angle, you can get used to it and make it habitual to find that sight picture. It just takes practice. And lastly, I will give my opinion very briefly on this Delta Point Pro because it is kind of part of the package of this gun. I did really like this. I think it is a really clear sight picture. It has a very, very slight blue tint, but the sight picture is a lot larger. The frame, the glass that you're looking through, a lot larger than something like the 507C. At least it appears that way. I can't promise it is, but it feels like it's larger. But a major downside of this optic is going to be this single button they have here to adjust the brightness. It's either going up or it's going down, and you don't know which direction it's going until you start pressing it. So you might press it, you're trying to make it dimmer, you start pressing it, it's going the opposite direction, it's going brighter. You have to wait till it gets to the top, it flashes, and you keep hitting it and it goes back down to get dimmer. And then as it's going dimmer, once again, if you want to go brighter than you went, if you went too dim, you have to keep going all the way to the bottom and then keep pressing it and it'll slowly go back up. That is annoying, combined with the fact that to even press this button, you're blocking the emitter that projects the light. So even trying to change the brightness, it's like you can't even keep pressing this button. You have to press, take your finger away and see, press, take your finger away and see. It's honestly a stupid design, not that well thought out, but we'll cover that again in more detail in a future video going forward. I just want to give my very brief initial opinion on this optic. So what are my initial thoughts and opinions on this gun after having put 250 rounds through it? My initial thought is that I really like this gun a lot. I really enjoyed some of the differences that it has from Glocks. Because I've been shooting Glocks for so long, it was really refreshing to try something new with the different grip angle, different ergonomics, the way it feels and handles. I don't know if it's just me, maybe you guys have experienced this as well, but it feels like it's smaller than the Glock. Even though, as you saw earlier, it's not really smaller. Maybe it's the thinner grip, maybe it's the shorter barrel. It just feels like it'd be smaller and easier to conceal carry, which I will be trying out, by the way. I did pick up I did pick up this little cheap holster from the store. Gonna be working on carrying that and trying it out for the next few weeks and seeing how I enjoy carrying it as opposed to the Glock. As a Glock fanboy, there are a few things that admittedly I can say I do like about this and appreciate about this gun better than the Glock. Do I think it's a better performer than the Glock? No, probably not. I think they perform as far as accuracy about the same, as far as the handling about the same. It really just depends on what you're used to and what you become used to through habit and practice. So in the end, do I recommend this gun to you as a concealed carry weapon, as a home defense weapon, whatever it may be? Absolutely. I think it's going to be a great reliable gun for you. I put 250 rounds through it without fail, without error, and I expect that to continue for thousands and thousands of rounds to come. And I think it's going to be a great gun for you. It's going to perform, it's going to do well. It's probably just as accurate as the Glocks. At this point in time, I'm going to conclude my opinion with it really just depends on what your preference is. If you're looking at picking up either the Sig P320 or the Glock, I would hold both. Do some sight acquisitions with both, see how your natural point of aim goes comparatively with both guns, and just see which one feels better in your hand. Like I said, there's going to be pros and cons to both, so it really comes down to preference. So apologies to those of you who were expecting a definitive hard line, yes or no, better or worse than the Glock 19. I do want to do some more testing with this, carry it for a few months, do some more shooting for a few months, and then make a future video down the road comparing this side by side with the Glock 19. We'll be doing a bunch of shooting with it and kind of giving my thoughts and opinions as far as would I take this definitively over the Glock 19, or am I still a Glock fanboy at heart? That's going to be something to be decided down the road, but for now, Sig P320 XCompact. See you guys in the next video. If you have any recommendations or requests for future videos going forward, leave a comment down below. If you like this video, leave a like on it. If you want to see more videos like this going forward, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.